Today, we're going to dig into the incredible story of how Mexico City took on a problem that seemed, well, impossible. And this isn't just a story about a new bus system. It's a really powerful lesson in how you can spark massive, citywide change, all starting with one single brilliant idea.
This is the big question for megacities all over the world. They're these amazing centers of opportunity, but that success, it often leads to just crippling traffic, terrible pollution, and growing inequality. So seriously, where do you even begin to untangle a mess that big?
For Mexico City, back at the turn of the century, things were pretty dire. The public transport system was a mess, everyone who could was buying a car, and the air quality was just notoriously bad. The city was, quite literally, suffocating under its own weight. But right out of this crisis, something amazing happened. A single project emerged that would become the first domino to fall in a huge city-wide transformation. It was called Metrobús. So the whole journey really started with a key partnership. Back in 2002, the Center for Sustainable Transport, or CTS, which was a predecessor to the World Resources Institute, set up shop right in the city. By 2004, the Metrobus project was officially announced, and just 2 years later, bam! The first line was up and running on one of the city's most critical avenues.
Now, what's really fascinating is the role CTS played here. They weren't just consultants who sent in a report. No. They were deeply embedded in the whole process. They brought the technical know-how, they helped navigate all the tricky political negotiations, and they oversaw the entire implementation. They built this incredible relationship of trust with the city.
And hey, the results, they spoke for themselves. The city's own mayor hailed Metrobus not just as a success, but as the very foundation for a whole new citywide strategy. It was a fundamental shift, moving away from just prioritizing private cars.
Okay, so the impact of Metrobús went way beyond just getting people from point A to point B. The data shows this powerful ripple effect that actually changed the entire city. And this is where the story gets really compelling for any city out there facing similar challenges. 77%. Let that number sink in for a second. This single number captures the absolute economic revolution that this bus system kicked off. But what does it actually mean? That 77%, it represents a massive increase in economic opportunity. With this new transit system, the average person could suddenly get to a dramatically larger number of jobs in just a half hour. So you see, this wasn't just a transportation project, it was an engine for prosperity.
In this chart, it just brilliantly illustrates the environmental impact. As the Metrobus system grew, its effect on the city's carbon footprint grew right along with it, exponentially. By 2016, it had cut nearly 144,000 tons of CO2 emissions. That's a direct blow to the pollution that had been choking the city for years.
But maybe the most personal impact was on people's time. By 2017, the system was saving commuters a staggering 50 million hours every single year. That's time given back to families, to communities, to individuals. It's a huge improvement in quality of life.
So this brings us to the real lesson of the Mexico City story. How did one bus system do all of this? Well, it's because it was never just a project. It was part of a much bigger, much smarter strategy. It's called the deep dive approach. And look, this isn't about one-off fixes. It's about playing the long game. It's deep engagement across all these different sectors: transportation, land use, energy. It's a commitment that lasts longer than election cycles. And that's what allows for true systemic change to happen. Think of it this way. A project-by-project approach is kind of like putting a Band-Aid on a huge problem. But the deep dive approach, that addresses the root cause. It creates the right conditions where one success, like Metrobus, can multiply and trigger positive changes across the whole system. So what's the blueprint here? It really boils down to three key things. First, you've got to build trust by being a reliable, expert partner. Second, you have to understand the entire ecosystem of politicians, activists, and other groups and work within it. And third, you need the financial and institutional flexibility to adapt and grab opportunities when they pop up. So when you put it all together, the story of Metrobus becomes way more than just a case study. It actually becomes a blueprint that other cities around the world can follow. And that is the ultimate takeaway here. One smart, catalytic project, when it's guided by a deep, long-term strategy, doesn't just improve a city. It can fundamentally rewrite its future, creating this amazing virtuous cycle of opportunity, health, and sustainability. So it really leaves us with one final, important question to think about. Looking at the challenges where you live and thinking about the lessons from Mexico City, What could be that single project? What could be the catalyst for your city?